Morning, everyone. At the outset, none of the authors have any financial interest. I'm Dr. Pavitra Patel, and the topic for my today's presentation is thinking out of the box. So, one second. Thinking out of the box reverse optic capture for rotational stability in toric intraocular lens. So it is a well-known fact that toric IOLs tend to have poor rotational stability, especially in high myopes with an axial length of more than 25 millimeters. And it can be clearly seen in this animation that toric IOLs remain stable in eyes with normal axial length, and they tend to rotate in eyes with axial length of more than 25 millimeters. So for every degree of misalignment, about 33%, 3.3% of the lens cylinder power is lost, and hence 30 degrees of rotation will lead to complete loss of toricity of the intraocular lens. And there are ways by which we can maintain the stability of intraocular lens, the most common method being the use of capsular tension ring. However, there are few published data which also reveals that despite implanting CTR, there was rotational instability seen. So what extra could have been done for these cases? So we came up with our research question that was, can reverse optic capture of toric IOLs improve the post-operative stability in high myopes? So all these patients, and the aim of our study was to highlight the outcomes of a novel technique of reverse optic capture for improved rotational stability of intraocular lens. So all these patients who underwent toric IOL implantation with CTR, they were tested for refractive status keratometry and dilated slit lamp evaluation to assess the alignment of toric IOL. So this was a prospective interventional study which included 25 eyes with rotational instability of more than 15 degrees, who had an axial length of more than 25 millimeters, who had a toricity of IOL T3 and above, had a rhexis between 5 to 5.5 mm, and had a CTR implanted earlier. And the exclusion criteria was patients who had zonular weakness or those who had intraoperative complications that could affect the IOL stability. So ROC was done at 2 weeks post-operatively. And this is an animation to mainly explain how reverse optic capture was done. So it is a procedure in which the haptics, they remain in the bag and the optic is brought into the ciliary sulcus. To rest on the rhexis margin. So written informed consent was taken prior to the surgery. Surgery was done by the same surgeon, and Alcon Acrysoft toric IOL was used for all these patients. The implantation was done by a 2.2 millimeter of incision. For the toric IOLs that had rotated, we re-rotate the IOL to the axis of implantation and then bring one edge of the optic, as seen in this video, onto the rhexis margin. And then after ensuring the alignment, the other edge of the IOL was also brought into the anterior to the rhexis margin, keeping the haptics basically in the bag. So what were our results? This graph basically represents number of eyes per toric model. So out of 25 eyes, 9 eyes had T3 toricity, 5 eyes had T4, 7 had T5, 1 eye had T6, and 3 eyes had T7 toricity. Now, this graph represents post-operative uncorrected distance visual acuity following toric IOL with CTR. And in this graph, we can see that about 11 eyes had a UDV of 6 by 12, 8 had a UDV of 6 by 18, and 3 even had a UDV of 6 by 24. Now, all these 25 eyes had a misalignment of more than 15 degrees post-toric this thing. So now post-reverse optic capture, we saw a statistically significant change in the post-operative UDVA, wherein we saw that around 23 eyes had a uncorrected distance visual acuity of 6 by 6, and 2 had a uncorrected distance visual acuity of 6 by 9. So post-ROC, basically this graph shows us about the degree of misalignment of the toric IOL post-ROC. So all of these patients, they showed a residual astigmatism of 23 eyes had less than 5 degree, and 2 eyes had a residual astigmatism with a degree of misalignment between 5 to 10 degrees. And all of these patients had a residual astigmatism less than 0.5 post reverse optic capture. So to conclude, the toric IL rotation has been positively correlated with longer axial lengths and larger capsular bags, and consequently, the larger capsular bags. So reverse optic capture can be done simply and quickly in these patients while implanting toric IOLs in high myopes, which does not require any more extra time or instrumentation than for a routine surgical repositioning. And the only indication of where the ROC can be done, the prerequisite basically is an intact central capsular axis, which is slightly smaller than the optic diameter of the IOL, which is normally the ideal size of the rexus that most surgeons aim for. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pavitra. Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Dr. Pavitra, do you recommend reverse optic capture as a standard procedure, and do you do it in your practice for patients with high axial length and toric implantation?
So basically in this study, that was the main aim, to see whether CTR implantation, was it really helpful in maintaining the rotational stability. And we could really see the difference of how the rotational stability was maintained after reverse optic capture. So if you have enough, if you're a skilled surgeon and if you really want a good outcome in your toric IL patients for your high myopes, this is a procedure that could be made standard for like our clinical practice. We do it now routinely, not routinely as in whichever high myope patient is undergoing high toric IL basically. So we would really recommend it.
Okay, so as a secondary procedure where there is rotational instability, you documented it in that particular case, it would be a good idea. But you're saying that you're doing it as a routine. If that is the case, do you recommend any adjustment to the IOL power calculation? Because theoretically, the effective lens position would lift anteriorly, and there would be theoretically a myopic shift. So do you recommend that?
So we saw the effective lens position. There was a shift of 0.5, 0.75, not much, because here the
0.5 in today's surgery is a lot.
But sir, the misalignment that was seen in these patients, that was more than 15 degrees. So that was more, that was intolerable by the patient as compared to the shift of 0.5.
Pavitra, I'm talking about prospectively doing as a routine.
Prospectively, yes.
So we can really give for IOL power calculation, what would you recommend?
We can take a 0.5 less when calculating the IOL power. We can always reduce the IOL power by 0.5.
Okay.
Because it is not entirely in the sulcus, sir.
Okay.
The haptics are still in the
it's partly midway,
capsular bag.
Right.
Pavitra, if you have a small PCR in the central and everything is okay, would you like to go ahead with this procedure or not?
We haven't tried, but we have not tried yet, sir, but there are published data where they have used reverse optic capture even in small central, basically posterior capsular tear. So it's a known fact that it has been done, but we haven't tried as of now.